everybody. This is the Space Chief again, back with another Space Chief rant for the week. This week's rant is going to be kind of hard for me to get through. It involves probably my favorite book, if not, it's in my top 3, if not my favorite. But this week's rant is about The Walking Dead. I just want to assure you, all you Walking Dead fans out there, that I'm one of you. I love The Walking Dead. I love the zombie genre in general. But only the Romero-style zombie, though. I'm not a fan of Return of the Living Dead. I thought that was just a weak movie in general. But I love what Romero's created. That genre is brilliant, I think, and one of the scariest kind of horror movies ever. Especially if you're a kid. I want to give you a little background on this. When I was a kid, probably 8 years old, I lived in central Indiana. I lived in the cornfields in the woods. My nearest neighbor was probably half a mile away. I grew up in an area that looked a lot like the house in Night of the Living Dead, like where that place is. So when I'm 8 years old, my Uncle Danny, the same uncle that actually introduced me to comic books, he gave me a huge box of Silver Age comics when I was like 4 or 5 years old. And I've just been in love with comics ever since. But anyway, back to the story. He comes over one day when I'm like 8 years old, and he brings this videotape of Night of the Living Dead on Betamax. This is how old this is. And we had a Betamax top-loader VCR. So all the adults are doing what they do. So I take this tape and I pop it in and I watch this movie. And at the time, I hadn't seen anything any more hardcore than like Godzilla on like the afternoon movie on the weekend. So this movie just blew my mind. It terrified me, for one thing. It looked like it could have been happening on my front lawn. It fascinated me. The thought of a soulless corpse trying to eat me was the most terrifying thing I'd ever heard of. And I just fell in love with that. I probably watched that tape 10 times. And, growing up, then I discovered Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. Really got into the zombie genre. Wore my Night of the Living Dead t-shirt till it had holes in it. Loved it. Still love it to this day. Now when I discovered The Walking Dead, I thought, wow, what a brilliant concept. Take Night of the Living Dead and just run with it. Keep it going and get to see where these characters progress to. And I've read every single panel of the book. I've seen every single episode of the TV show. I am a huge fan of it. Believe me, I've got my Michonne figure right up there. I've got t-shirts, graphic novels, everything. I got the whole shebang. I put money into The Walking Dead. So don't come at me for saying this. And some of you are probably going to agree with this. My problem has been with like the last 3 or 4 issues. They introduced this guy recently, Ezekiel. I don't have any problems with Ezekiel, the character. What I have a problem with is this dude right here. He has a full-grown tiger in the zombie apocalypse. Now, he even says, when he talks to Michonne, I believe it's in 110, he even tells her, this tiger eats as much as 10 men. Now, when food is scarce, and they've got this character Negan who's taking half of whatever they produce, you can't afford to keep a full-grown tiger. You can't feed a beast this big. I don't understand how anybody's following this guy. You would think all of the people in his community would rise up, kill Ezekiel, and eat this tiger. It's ridiculous. One of the other issues I've been having too lately is this gave me pause to think about just the world in general. I'm thinking with human populations like severely decimated, that means animals are going to start to proliferate. There'll be more game. There'll be more rabbits, deer. And that brings more large predators. I doubt that zombies are eating bear or cougar. I mean, it's hard enough for an able-bodied hunter to catch these animals, let alone a mumbling, stumbling bag of dead flesh that's just making noise and clambering through the woods. They're not going to get close to a puma or a mountain lion or a bear. Not even close. And that does nothing to say the polar bear populations, where zombies probably don't even exist up in like freezing cold climates. They'll freeze solid. I'm wondering, I have a problem with the fact that this dude is keeping a full-grown tiger in a time when food is scarce enough for human beings. And I'm also wondering, why is food so scarce? Why are they still worried about food when there has to be so much game around? There has to be more deer. Deer multiply like crazy. Rabbits multiply like rabbits. We know that. They multiply like crazy. Without all the people hunting them that they do, or the people that hunt them, or hit them on the road with cars, nobody's driving on the highways anymore. There's no more roadkill. I just don't understand. This world is starting to not make any sense. And I'm really hoping that Kirkman will come along to explain some of this. Because it's been bothering me. Like, where are all the animals? Why is food so scarce when there has to be huge populations of deer, rabbit, squirrel? There has to be all these things. Food shouldn't be scarce for anyone. So, my rant this week, not really about the comic itself, but one particular aspect of the comic. Now, I plead with Robert Kirkman to please explain this. Please explain this tiger. This is a completely... I mean, you have to suspend some disbelief for zombies. I get that. But there also has to be some reality to the world, or it's just ridiculous. Now, who knows why? And the wonderful thing about at least the Romero genre in The Walking Dead is you don't know why these zombies have come about. They never explain it to you. That's what keeps it scary. But you have to keep the world somewhat logical. I'm willing to suspend disbelief for zombies, not for keeping a full-grown tiger in the zombie apocalypse. That's the Space Chief's rant this week. Catch us on Panel to Panel on Mondays at 8, 7 Central, and we'll see you on the show.